So Canadian politics is getting a bit interesting lately. This was the 2025 Canadian election, a Liberal minority government. This is the Canadian Parliament now. How did this happen? Mostly one man's fault. Pierre Poilievre, or as I like to call him, hyper-attentive Ben Shapiro. For real, two main ways he was able to gain seats: defections from the Conservative Party and also by-elections. We'll talk a bit about both, and also a bit mixed in about the general dynamics behind this. First up, the defections. Something I learned very recently, just like the sheer amount of overlap between the Canadian parties. Like, the right factions of the Liberal Party are the same as the left of the Conservatives, which turns defecting from the party into basically just a dumb rage quit to a viable alternative. Which is when you have a leader like Pierre Poilievre, who's only interested in running this party as this dogmatic right-wing force, and you do have a party where you have factions like that, especially in this sort of environment where the Liberal Party is just absolutely ascendant, defecting, it starts to look a lot more appealing. Like, you really can't blame them. Like, he's just so unlikable to most people. He's just really shrill. And he feels so, like, if you knew him in person, it feels like he would be irritating. He doesn't seem like he'd be fun to be around, which, it's a very important trait for a leader. People want to vote for someone that would be fun to be around, not, Pierre Poilievre. The problem is, with his base, he's super popular. They love him. He's, like, They look up to him. They pray to him before they go to bed every night. But most Canadians and most people in general, he's just kind of shrill and irritating. He doesn't seem like he doesn't, like, yeah, the Conservatives, they're just stuck with this massively unpopular leader, which lets Carney, he's a lot more centrist than Trudeau as well. That helps. Have a lot of credibility saying, hey, you should come over here, defect to the Liberal Party, which a lot of people have done. I think 4 Conservative MPs and 1 NDP person. I think that's it. Yeah. Secondly, the by-election results. They're very interesting results. They help also paint a real picture of what I was talking about earlier. First up, I'll put up on the screen here the exception to the rule. This is the district of Terrebonne. It's a district of Montreal, which hence, Quebec. You can probably see where I'm going with this. Is spoiler alert, all the other by-elections, Liberals increased their vote share by 9.95%. I read my script wrong. They did in this election. I'm an idiot. The Conservatives, they got the frankly hilarious result of 3.3%. 3%. That's 3% is like the amount of vote like the Russian fake parties get in the presidential elections there. The Conservatives are getting less than the Russian parties. Also, swing against them 14.8.5%. But what's interesting about this one, unlike all the others, the NPD gains a small addition of the vote. Their vote declined by 2%, and instead the Bloc Québécois, which is the centre-left Quebec Separatist Party, they gained 8.15% of the vote. Came second overall in seat. I have heard that Quebec separatism, it's sort of become a thing that it's sort of been quiet, but it's still around, just in sort of a, how much can we push it while staying in Canada way? Maybe people voted for that sort of method. I don't know what degree the Bloc Québécois are on that spectrum. I know they're a pretty milquetoast party these days, but also Conservatives maybe lost some to the Bloc. I know in Scotland, the British Conservatives are sort of, the party of union there, basically. People are losing faith in that, maybe? I don't know. To be honest, I'm just taking stabs to the dark. I don't get Quebec at all. I have frankly no idea. If someone is from Quebec and would like to tell me what it actually means, please let me know. Anyway, next up is the by-election in the district of University Rosedale, which actually was the seat of Chrystia Freeland, who was Trudeau's Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister. Also was Mark Carney's main opponent to the Liberal leadership contest that happened after Trudeau gave up. She resigned her seat recently after she just realised, yeah, Carney isn't going anywhere, and their career was just kind of done for. Now, the Liberals increased their vote share, but only by 0.33%. That is impressive if they increased it at all, but it's still marginally less than the other districts. NDP gained second and gained a whole 9.02%. The Conservatives got 12% and a swing of 11%. You almost start to feel bad at them at certain points, like, oh my god. How are they a real political party? 3% of the vote. Second party. Second biggest. I'm not really sure why the NDP also did so well. I presume that a lot of, left-wing Canadians, since Carney's really tapped into that whole left-wing Canadian, we're better than the Yanks thing, they'd be more inclined to vote Liberal, but my main fear is since part of the seat downtown Toronto, maybe a lot of the left-wing supporters switch to the NDP, since Conservatives aren't really a threat and Mark Carney's the centre a lot. To be honest, I'm not really sure though. I'm not an expert on Canadian politics by any means, maybe just some Liberal voters switched and some Conservatives switched to the Liberals. Who knows? Finally, the Scarborough Southwest District, pretty similar trends to the rest. You get the drill by this point. Liberals retain the seat with 69.60 and a 8.12 swing towards them. Conservatives lose 11.77% of the vote, getting only 18% of the vote. The last one was a swing. NDP came third with 5.9. You can tell I've had a break. I'm out of practice. I'm very, I've been so exhausted lately because I've been doing stuff and I'm not getting the best sleep lately, so I've just, yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure. The NDP did so comparatively poor here. Like, if we pretend the Bloc Québécois was the NDP, they got double this. My theory, maybe because it's a suburban area and those tend to have a lot less progressives. Or maybe their candidate was just kind of bad. I don't really know, to be honest, though. It is very impressive, though. Carney got a majority outside of an election. Like, I'm not sure how many times that's even happened before in Canada, let alone any democracy. But, yeah, summary, Carney and the Liberals are doing well. Pierre Poilievre, not the best leader. Quebec is strange. NDP marginally well. I didn't mention the Greens at all because they kind of didn't really matter. Their vote increased by about 1 or 2% on most of the elections. Otherwise, I'm not sure how well they're doing. I've heard they're kind of slowly fading into irrelevancy. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm back from my break. I'm going to be switching to a once in every 3 days at 5:30 PM schedule. I can't guarantee it's going to be any degree of quality and actually worth watching most of the time if I do it every day. And 3 days, it gives me a lot more wiggle room to actually, live a life. Because I've been when I do them every day, I'm on school holiday, so I was sitting the entire day, 10 to about 5 making the videos, which probably not that long, but it's like my entire day, basically. And it gives me a lot better wiggle room to create the quality you guys deserve. ScoMo video isn't cancelled. I'm just going to use it whenever there's no news going on and finish it up because it was getting really kind of boring making it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.